Let's talk today about an absolutely critical player along the defensive line for our Chicago Bears, and that guy is Gervon Dexter. I mean, he just made a much needed change to his body to adapt to what Coach Flus loves in his defenders. He loves his players to be long, he loves them to be lean. He wants them to be quick off the ball. And Dexter came into OTAs absolutely jacked. And Eberflus, he definitely noticed and said so during his press conference before OTAs began. I noticed the body composition first, Eberflus said. Dexter was really good. He changed his body, and the time he was off, he's quicker, he's leaner. We're depending as a team on Dexter to become our 3-tech this season, and he looks to be doing everything that's being asked of him, listening to what Coach Flus preached for his defenders. We're talking about a player who had a big knock on him coming out of the draft last year. The word coming out of college was that he was slow coming off the ball. I'm going to pull from his scouting profile on Bleacher Report. You guys can go back and pull it and see what scouts had to say about him out of college. But the negative traits that were listed were that he was very slow off the ball. He's late to react to the snap. He doesn't accelerate off the line of scrimmage well. And probably the biggest issue that was presented with Dexter's game was his get off. They said that that could cause him some trouble in the NFL and really limits him as a pass rusher. If he can start firing off the ball with more consistency, he'll have a better chance at staying on the field for third downs, as he's shown flashes with his bull rush. So I want to go through his positives too in his scouting report. His positives were that he was solid at shedding blocks. When he's fresh, he's solid at collapsing the pocket with a bull rush and does a good job of working to get on an edge. He has plenty of power to become a better bull rusher at the next level. And that's an interesting thing. The scouting report said that when he's fresh, he can do things really well. So my thought on this, with him being in better shape, being more muscular, more lean, I think he'll definitely be more explosive off the ball this season. The only potential problem that it could hinder his worth as a run defender, and that is an issue. That is a worry. In the first half of the year, that was an area of struggle. Then he got acclimated to the pro game. We're going to trust that this training staff that we have, this coaching staff that we have, that they were able to increase his speed without losing strength and leverage. And also leaner mass, so he will have more endurance to stay on the field, so that when he's fresh coming into the pros, that can be more the rule rather than the exception. So if he does end up being a liability against a run, if these worries are confirmed, we're going to have to do what isn't ideal. We're going to have to use him as a rotational player. And I don't think guys like Zach Pickens or undrafted free agent Randolph Jr., I don't think they're looking to be ready to handle that off the bat. So that's where coaching comes in, right? We've got the best defensive line coach in the league and defensive coordinator Eric Washington. Coach Flus is still going to call the plays. I trust him to launch Zach Pickens into a valuable player. I trust him to coach up Randolph, who was a great get as an undrafted free agent. And Zach Pickens needs to perform to match his draft costs. And also, I trust Coach Washington to mold Dexter into the complete player that, frankly, we absolutely need him to be. So we've got a player who ascended last year, and we used some valuable collateral on him when you remember where the pick comes from. And I'm going to go to this rookie profile on A to Z Sports. They went through what kind of rookie year that he had and what we can expect from this year. So you guys do yourselves a favor, go to that profile. Had to take a drink. I'm fighting a cold once again. So the Bears drafted Dexter with the 53rd overall pick in the draft, and this is after they acquired the pick for the Baltimore Ravens. That's the pick that we got from trading Roquan Smith at the 2022 trade deadline. So it's kind of even more interesting. It adds another layer of why he needs to descend, because this is a pick that we got for trading Roquan. I mean, that's a lot of capital. So the second round pick out of Florida, he played 17 games for the Bears in 2023. He made one start in week 1 against the Packers. Ouch. He played a critical role in the interior of the defensive line as a rotational piece starting out. And if you remember, he split snaps between Billings, between Jones, fellow rookie Zach Pickens. but he just wasn't a consistent threat as a pass rusher or run defender early on. But he continued to show major improvements each week. He stepped into his role, and he ended the season on a higher note, and he should be in line for higher snap counts this season. In fact, he needs to take the majority of them, not more. He ended up playing on average of 39.8% of the team's defensive snaps during the regular season. As a rotational piece, though, his role was limited, so that number's a little skewed. He had many fans in the media, myself included, just continually asking Coach Flus if Dexter would be given more of a role on the defensive line. That role, it eventually came with Dexter playing 40+% of the snaps in each of the last 5 games of the season. It's the end of the season, though, that we really need to highlight because the overall stats, they just don't tell the story. I'm going to close down that window. You guys go to A to Z Sports, check out that whole profile. I'm just highlighting some good things here. So the stats, I don't think they really tell the story. His overall stats, he finished the season with 2.5 sacks, 20 combined tackles, 12 quarterback hits. That's great. And 2 pass deflections. And according to PFF, this is very telling to what he can be as a player. Dexter's 11.9 pass rush win percentage, that ranked third among rookie interior defensive linemen. He trailed only Philly's Jalen Carter, the LA Rams, Kobe Turner. I mean, these are big names. Each of these guys were finalists for the 2023 Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Now with his new body makeup, more speed and explosion off the ball, we very well might have something special here. And he finished the season with a 65.9 pass rush grade. If we look back, his highest graded game, that came in week 5 against Washington. That's an 85.5. That's a great performance. He recorded 2 quarterback hits in that game. He generated a season high 6 total pressures. His efforts in that game, that helped the Bears earn their first victory of the season and kind of helped get them going. But it took Dexter a while to really get going during his rookie season last year. I'd say it was week 14 against the Lions. That's when he was finally able to record his first sack in the NFL. And the most exciting part of Dexter's rookie season, that was showing flashes against some of the top offensive linemen in the league. Pressure against the Lions all-pro tackle Sewell. I mean, that's huge to have your breakout game lined up against him. And he still has a few fundamental techniques in his game to fully master. I'd say at times he played out of position from what he's normally in his comfort zone with. But all things said, I think it was an absolutely inspiring rookie season from the defensive tackle, and he's expected to be a breakout this year. We need him to be a breakout. And I think a complete season under elite coaching under defensive coordinator Eric Washington. Coach Flus is calling the defensive plays. Eric Washington will be pouring plenty of his talents into the defensive line, and there's no one better. I think he's the best defensive line coach in the whole NFL. If you look at what he did in Buffalo for quite a few years, he wasn't dealing with top tier talent. He got the most talent out of the players that were presented to him. And I think he's going to continue to do that in Chicago. All signs are pointing up on Gervon Dexter. And I think him coming into camp absolutely jacked is going to go a long ways towards showing that he's totally bought into this regime, into this defense, and into this new team culture that we have. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your holiday weekend. I'm going to be posting possibly multiple times a day. So if you get a second, check out any Bears news from here, and appreciate you guys. Bear down. See you soon.